If you're looking for tips on how to speak like a native speaker of any language, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to talk about what exactly it means to speak like a native speaker, how exactly to do it, as well as a couple of resource recommendations. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jamie. I am a language coach, and my job is to help language learners achieve their language goals no matter what they are. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video all about helping language learners achieve their language goals. So what exactly does it mean to speak like a native speaker and to be mistaken as a native speaker when you're speaking a foreign language? If you're really serious about being mistaken as a native speaker, then what you really need to be focusing on is your pronunciation. And in order to improve your pronunciation, you'll want to be focused on the IPA, or International Phonetic Alphabet. The idea of the IPA is that all humans have the same mouth. We all have the same teeth, the same muscles, the same body parts, the same everything. The difference between how different languages sound is really just how different languages use the same mouth differently. It's not just about using different words, it's also about creating different sounds in your mouth that you may have not ever created before, at least if you want to sound like a native speaker. The biggest sign that somebody is not a native speaker is when they say the words but they don't use the sounds of a native speaker. They're using the sounds of their own native language. So using IPA, we can understand how exactly we are using our mouths to create our native language and then slightly shift that to reflect the language that we're trying to speak. While the IPA can be a pretty boring concept for some, there is a great resource out there called the Mimic Method for language learners. The Mimic Method was a paid program, but it's now free to everybody, which is really awesome. It's available in a ton of really commonly learned foreign languages. The Mimic Method is based entirely on IPA and helps native English speakers to understand where our mouths are naturally going, plotting it on a graph, and then showing us where our mouth and tongue and muscles should be in order to produce the words as a native speaker would. You can go through all the videos where all the differences in sound are explained. There are interesting drills that you can use to practice getting used to creating that specific sign in your mouth with really, really simple words, like 1 to 2 syllable words. You just say them over and over and over and over again, so you can learn to almost naturally create the foreign language words in the foreign accent, the way that native speakers of that language create it naturally so that you sound like a native speaker. Honestly, if you want tips to speak like a native speaker, this is an absolute goldmine and you should not be ignoring it, especially because now it's completely free to the public, which is amazing. While the Mimic Method is the best, most comprehensive, honestly the only way that I know of to understand pronunciation at like a scientific level, specifically for language learners, it's not the only way to practice pronunciation or necessarily the best. So as promised, let's talk about a few different resources that you can use to benefit your pronunciation with or without the Mimic Method, but absolutely 100% better with it. If you're enjoying this approach so far, make sure to hit the like button. I already mentioned the drills available in the Mimic Method, and I still highly recommend that. It's a really good, jumping off point after you've gone through the videos and gone through all the tutorials. But there are a couple other options. The first one I can recommend is a website called Pink Trombone. It's a really interesting website where you can basically play around with the different muscles in your mouth, where the tongue is located, what you're doing with your throat, the roof of your mouth, all sorts of things, and basically take the concept of IPA and how our mouths are moving in order to create different sounds and practice it on this digital mouth, basically. If you want like an outside view of what our mouths do and how our mouths create different sounds, this is a really great way to put some practice in and really nail down what exactly it is that you're doing with your mouth to create the words that you want to create in your foreign language. It can take a little bit getting used to, but if that's the kind of thing that will really help you understand how you want to be moving your mouth, this is a really great resource and it's totally free. Now, backing off of the nitty-gritty of the IPA and switching more to a more language-centric, experience-centric view of practicing your pronunciation and practicing understanding how you should be authentically creating the language, my next resource recommendation is Youglish. Again, it's another free website. Youglish is essentially a giant search engine that searches YouTube videos for specific words and phrases. It's available in several different languages. And basically what you do is you type a word into the search bar and it automatically comes up with different videos available already on YouTube of people saying those words in the target language. This is really awesome because it can help you train your brain and your ear to understand the different sounds that people use to convey these words. One of the issues that language learners can run into when they're using language apps is while there are audios available, they're robotic for one, but also nobody says words the same way. So using Youglish, you can look up Buenos Dias, for example, and you can have all these different examples of different people saying these words. So you don't get used to listening for and learning to pronounce Buenos Dias in one way, or like how I say it, or like how a friend says it. You can get used to the sounds of different people and how those sounds interact with each other with native speakers. It's gonna be a really great training tool for not only your listening comprehension, but also to understand the various ways that people use their mouths to create the same sound. And speaking of apps, there are 2 apps that I would highly recommend in order to learn to speak like a native speaker. I've mentioned them both quite a few times on this channel, so you know that I love them. The first one is Speechling. Speechling is an app and website where you can go online and get prompts to speak, respond to certain prompts, or just repeat phrases and words and have them compared to not only the native audio that's already supplied, but it'll be sent to a tutor that will help you with your pronunciation. It's like a combination of shadowing and also having a private tutor to correct your pronunciation and to help you understand how exactly you need to shift the sounds you're making in order to sound correct. And like I said, you can either just repeat a phrase that they give you, or you can do free speak so you can really hone into the sounds that you're making. And finally, another great option for this is Yask. Yask has a feature where you can say a sentence and then it sends it off to the Yask community of native speakers where they can correct what you're saying and help you correct your pronunciation. There is a caveat though, that in order to use Yask to do this, you have to be a reasonably active member because pronunciation help is one of the features that isn't available to new members. You have to gain some XP before you get there. If you click the link below in the description of my review of the Yask, you'll understand exactly what I mean by that and how to achieve that. Nonetheless, no matter how your brain works and no matter how you want to approach learning how to speak like a native, there are quite a few options for you to practice your pronunciation to find one that works really well for you. Most of the resources mentioned in this video are totally free. The only options I mentioned in this video that aren't totally free are Speechling and Yask, but both Speechling and Yask do offer some free stuff for completely free users, so if you can't pay, then you're not completely out of luck. And if you enjoyed this approach to quickly and easily understanding exactly how it is that you want to accomplish a specific goal in language learning, click the link below in the description for my free training where you can see exactly how I teach my coaching clients exactly how I do this very thing. I help my clients understand exactly how to look for language learning resources to accomplish their specific goals, and I would love to share that with you. If you want to learn more about pronunciation specifically, watch this video where I talk about the benefits of improving your pronunciation skills in a foreign language, and it's more than just about being able to sound like you're a native speaker. There's a lot more benefits that you might not even realize. Other than that, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.